battle.
Ave, ladies and gentlemen, it's 18 o'clock CET, Friday afternoon, and again another episode of the absolutely astonishing battle strategical board game Tribun. Max, are you ready to rock? Okay, then let's go. The game of today is called Wicked Games. No, Wicked Dreams. Man, I screwed it up. And let's turn on the music. Music by Darren Curtis, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, you know, we began with rather usual stuff. Getting the Equus. By the way, if you don't know the game already, you can buy it. Just write us an email. You find all the necessary things down below in the comments. Tribun.org is our homepage. There you can order via email. Yeah, you can get those things for free. If you just want a sneak preview, go to the manuals, get the stuff rolling, and play Tribun. Yeah.
Exactly. And also, if you have the Tabletop Simulator, also free. The DLC is also free if you have it. But anyways, now it's game time.
Yeah.
And you do a very common approach, kind of blockading the middle, which is really annoying. But, you know, what can I do?
This won't remain being a Sagittarius. I would rather go for something different, but it's like an in-between move, and you see, this way I'm hopping forward. This particular Hestatus was here before, and yeah, these changed sides, and this one hopped forward. Now it's a formidable plug, and on the light hexagons as well, so I try to annihilate the threats coming down this diagonal.
By the way, if you see me drawing these brown lines, that means this is something I'm looking at right now. So, for example, if that happens, I'm looking at that this is defended, but this is also attacking, but it's attacked back. Now, and so if you were to take, I would retake.
Here you can see this is a movement pattern of the status. Long-term participants on this channel already know this, but all newcomers are welcome. And I'm going for this approach, accompanied by this status. The tiny little dude here can deliver a fatal blow to the status and clear the field. So now I'm asking the question, what are you going to do about it?
And I'm probably going to do something like that, breaking up and posing a similar threat, just like you did there, but I also have this funny idea to lock this one in and prevent you from combining on this hexagon.
Yeah, that was definitely a possible move, taking advantage of the symmetry here. But now you thwarted it in a way. And I'm curious, what will I do about this?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was looking for. Now you can take, but I can retake, and there's really nothing. And by the way, this slave here is hanging. So now you combine back, but you see the threat here is not the same as before. Now I'm just attacking with one unit, and I can do it. You can retake. And I'm going for this approach because the Hestatus still kept an eye on the symmetry field. Well,
that kind of looks stupid.
Yeah, it does, but yeah, you disrupted all my game plans in the development phase, so maybe it's worth it.
I know, but what I was getting at there is the Hestetis does something. This is stupid, so it's better trade. For you to have this as opposed to the
But now
two
you can recombine and you again have an status here.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. This gives you a practical target, and you know. Oh, that's actually very funny.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
You can take this, make no mistake, and after that you also have this attack.
But you can go down the file. Hello.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, if you take 2, 4 remain. If you take 4, with the two of them, 2 remain. So you don't want that. I can take
still kills the Tribun. So, and that would be bad news. If a 6 high unit makes it all the way down into your own neighborhood, that's probably disgusting. And so I first shut the door, but I'm not really convinced. Because this way, see, I'm breaking up all my bigger units, and so I'm kinda not really agile. I cannot restructure that fast. And here the attack, you just defend it. Simple.
Yeah, and
you are about to create the second ballista here or there.
I don't know about that, but
you're quite open, at least.
So, for example, by the way, fun fact: if you do this, the first thing I think about as a long-time Tribun player is Aquis on this diagonal. This is not protected.
Yeah, not
very well.
Not very well. Yeah.
So you've got to be like conscious about these 3 hexagons. They're usually poorly defended, especially for 3 high units. I mean, at the time, this hexagon, for example, is fine, but you know, usually it can be a little bit.
But I could jump ahead.
You could, yeah.
Very well protected. That would be fine.
But you know, I like to pose practical difficulties, and this is like one where you have to be like, what am I going to do now? But, so
and the second part, this brick in the wall is very loose. If this Aquis makes it down here, it's just protected. This is the important and crucial factor. If I were to move here, as I mentioned before, I would lose control of this brick. And then you could immediately, maybe not directly, but there is a plan behind this. So you have to keep that in mind. This dude has a job to do. I'm just developing.
And this is a counter player for this, so you probably want something like that or like that in the future to counteract my strong ballista.
Or maybe forming a ballista here. Grabbing this file. Could be.
I now do what I told you about. Yeah. I am going for this.
Setting this up. Now this one can move quite freely. Because, you know, you could even consider taking Impero. You're quite close.
Yeah, let's not dive into that too deep. The other thing I can do now is I could go here. Which usually isn't that great of a move, but if this was to open up a little bit more, perhaps it would be a viable option.
Yeah, and I didn't like that prospect, so I shut the door close. But, you see, it's like everything is shrinking together. And having a structure like this is very rigid. It's not like a soft piece of bread and you can put some butter on it and it tastes well. No, this is not tasty. It's really ugly. And
One move. I think this is much better because if you also open up this, but you also have ideas of this in the future, like not right now.
Yeah, it would die
and-
multiple times.
But you have more firepower, so I don't know why I didn't do that, but this is the plan. Well, it's also not that terrible. I want to jump here, I think. And it's kind of... That is a very interesting approach.
No, it's a wicked
sure.
dream. There is a rule behind how we create our names of the games. There's always something to it. And this is just a nightmare.
Yeah, and so you kind of jump forward to attack me, which is kind of reasonable. You also have this in the future, which right now that's not an option.
I'm not really satisfied with my position.
I know why.
It feels like being a crab, and you are, I don't know, like, how is the animal called? An otter? In German would be an otter. Tiny little dude swimming around in the ponds, taking stones and opening up the shells of whatever lives there. And I'm the one to get stoned. Yeah, I know. I really... The most devastating part about this is you can't do that. I mean, you're completely open. Yeah, you say, come and get me. Because you know you have these big dudes staring down the alley and will eventually make their way in.
Yeah, and by the way, I just looked it up. Apparently it's otter in English, too.
It's really otter?
Absolutely.
That's great!
Written exactly the same, so I don't know quite how to pronounce it.
It's the otter.
Probably so. Anyhow, so
Nice.
instead of dealing with this, which is rather pointless right now because this cannot go anywhere,
Exactly.
I just get into the position and I hope for something like takes, and then perhaps jump here. That's like kind of the idea. Let's see if that happens. Well, that's rather neat. By the way, the flickering is kind of the tabletop simulator being slow.
Yeah. No, you took!
Yeah, I think I remember why. So let's go back one step. If you go here, and I kind of thought this through, you prevent him to go there. He must go here, but he could also combine, and then it gets like complicated. But even if this was the case, there is no real good opportunity. Well, actually, there is. You could do this. Attacks. Well, yeah, and you cannot run away. But you could have also combined, and I think that's kind of the issue here. So 3 high units.
You could at least attack me like this, and then I gotta run for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not that big of a fan, you know?
maybe not, but you can come closer and...
I don't know. I don't want to be the one attacked, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't
enough, fair
feel
enough.
very good about the situation up there, so that's why I didn't engage in it.
Okay,
I
so you
just
took and I can take completely?
Exactly.
For a split second, I thought about maybe taking Impero, but usually it's no use having a captured unit in the vicinity of your own Tribune. You use this usually when you are attacking, and I'm clearly not.
And by the way, I have these 2 very nice moves, either going there or there, which target either one of these two pieces. So I'm very happy with... Oh, I could also take this like that.
Oh, that's so sad. I wanted to point out I was up material 25 to 24, but now I'm down. Okay. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you want to
Yeah,
do
something like that, making use of this diagonal, and then come closer. Yeah, with a tempo. But now, yeah.
I'm kind of a cheapskate in this game. I really don't like combining up. Because every piece you use up for your defense, A, makes it easier, and we don't have none of that here. And the other thing is you have less to attack with. So I usually stick around at the height of 1 as long as possible.
And I guess it's good. I'm usually the one who's combining up to the Sagittarius, making my movements swift, and yeah, but I'm consuming up 2 units. The problem is, if only I could reach this hexagon, all would be fine. I could attack once more, and then it would become very ugly, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I wouldn't die there, but so you do this, which is kind of reasonable. You attack my biggest piece. I hide behind my unit, and the interesting idea here is that, say you attack me again, perhaps I will choose to do this in-between move with, I don't know. Actually, that's not so easy.
Yeah, it's very hard, because I can counterattack.
Yeah, so perhaps then I would just, you know, react to this. Perhaps that happened. I'm
And it would be interesting to cut off this diagonal entirely. That's another approach.
Yeah, that did happen. But now I can
Yeah.
do this and kind of swap my colors. My idea here was, if you take, you have an idea of attacking me here, but I'm going to take here. And I'm still keeping you under control. I'm looking at you, and if you don't combine though, you probably die, right? So
I'm sorry to say, but yeah. And this was also an idea that occurred to me. So I'm now in a desperate mood. I'm trying to find a way out to deliver death as fast as I can.
and I have 2 moves,
Yeah.
which I decide to go there, and that is very important.
If you go there, I got ya.
And then, you know, actually it's not that simple. It is not this simple. I suppose you would do this, right?
Yeah, most likely.
But
Yeah.
it isn't as straightforward.
Yeah, but that would be next.
Exactly. So that was a losing variation, and that's why I went here. It does not give you the opportunity to encroach while attacking.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now I'm sacrificing everything to live
And
another
again,
day.
This is very, very, very dangerous. It's like poisoned apple. Now I can combine, but if I would not, then I'm in a lot of trouble actually.
No, I don't.
Actually, yeah.
The first thing you would do, rather
So
than
you-
this, is doing this.
Yeah, but-
Now you are forced.
Yeah, but
No.
I don't like to be forcing someone to combine, right? Yeah, perhaps that's also not
Okay, you can do this again.
interesting.
Now you were forced here.
Yeah, that's neat.
And
Just unfortunate that you can't teleport a 3 high unit there. Like, that would be a great move if you could do...
No, then you can go here. No.
Yeah, but you
It's
get...
very interesting. And maybe
Actually-
you out there find the correct move to...
That would be...
Yeah. Oh, luring the king in.
But you
And then-
cannot teleport this one up there, so that's kind of an issue.
Yeah, but maybe that's still the move. See? The only field is this. Ah,
But
but
then you have
then you
this.
are one step. Yeah, okay.
So let's stop
Let's
this
stop
now.
there, yeah, but it's an interesting line. And,
So I just went up there.
yeah, you
This is-
didn't take the bait.
Yeah, just don't engage in any of these nonsensical things, you know?
When the court realizes, no, that's a fishing rod.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah.
a fake defense. You defend this and you defend that, and that is really, really, really important.
Yeah, you can take with
So
2
if
units,
I
you
take
just
this
take. Yeah,
and nothing,
It's,
you
it's
can do
game
anything.
over.
The next annoying thing is I can do this, and you cannot really stick around. You can do this to protect that, or you can break up, which probably is like the best thing to do, right?
Probably. When you go here, then this one.
Or high unit.
Yeah,
you-
but that's a problem. But even this, now you can go here, attack me, and
Yeah, and
even
this
if you
is
combine, I'm on gray hexagons, then you can come here and attack me, and I
Yeah.
have nothing in comparison. I have nothing to offer.
Oh, actually, what I just thought about is this is kind of an interesting way. You just open it up everywhere, but
Ah,
You-
so
you
that
can-
you cannot take.
yeah,
Ah, I don't know.
I don't know. You
The first thing you're
This-
doing is you take.
mean like takes
And you
3 are
take.
being taken.
And now you
And,
take, and now what? The next
Yeah.
thing you can do is you can come here, pointing at everything. Man,
you know, if you do this and run,
it's game over. 21 to 14 units. This is way too
Oh,
much
yeah,
of an
yeah.
advantage. And 7 pieces, I tell you, you can form an additional Centuria and deliver death. That was nice. Teleporting the ballista through the whole bunch. And yeah, and attacking. That's the most important part. I'm attacking
you-
her.
But not only do you have this, you also have this, which is a backwards defense, which
That's
is really
true.
neat. And I'm still not taking this, because if I took, you could have gone there. Well, actually, you could not have done that. But I don't know. You shouldn't like provoke things.
And now I should have gone here.
I'm sure you did.
No. And that was a huge mistake because this one blocks
Yeah.
my sight of vision.
But my idea in this scenario was I opened this hexagon up. So right now I can either take this and die, or I can combine, and I would choose to do this, and I prepared for
Yeah.
this walk.
That's a very important piece of a whole puzzle, that you have this escape field, and it is so far out of reach that it will take me a lot of steps moving around if no, just no. You still have
Yeah, there is
the
no
super
real
attack.
way.
So, but that just piled up on the pile of mistakes,
And it's very important too that this is nicely defended everywhere. It's 3 defense points, but it's enough.
very
Oh, actually,
important
there's a
here.
problem.
That's so overpowered.
Yeah, and
And
so
you cannot
now,
simply defend against that. I mean, you can take 2 pieces. Why 2? Because there is no unit of 5, so you take an additional piece. But now you can cement it in here.
yeah, this is even more clean because you have a double attack.
But you don't need to in this
You don't
particular
need to in
case.
this case. Well, it depends, kind of.
Yeah, sometimes there are situations where it matters, but
It's also funny, this kind of blocks.
yeah, it blocks. That's very important. Yeah, otherwise, it's not
No,
that
I
clear.
like to do double attacks if I can, because that way it's very clear this one has to move.
So, okay, let's take back, see what you did, but
No, it's your move. I think you took
I
here.
I think so. Yeah. Walking
Because
tall.
in this game, you don't have to defend your Tribune. Like, you should, but if you can't, you can't, right?
Like on a
So you
real
don't-
battlefield, you are allowed to do everything.
Yeah, and now if I would have been, like, in a funny mood, I could have gone here, but I ultimately decided against that because, you know, this doesn't do anything, but it looks scary, and if something looks scary, don't do it.
Just
Alright.
bring it to an end.
Exactly. So,
Don't
So
play
don't
with
play
your
with-
food. Another video in our arsenal.
and
Yeah,
that's the
that
conclusion.
was the sad conclusion of this episode. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the content and it was quite interesting, educational, and your last words, man.
Exactly. So, we wish you a great day and a great time. And if you have the time to share this video or give us a like or subscribe, we would appreciate all of that. You know? And if you do, I can sleep longer and I'm not so tired. Thanks already.
Oh, man.
And you know, the website is linked below, so if you want this game for free, just, you know,
Grab it.
go to the website. And with that, I would say, see you soon.
On Tribun.